Welcome back to the Exponential Enlightenment Podcast. Today we're diving into some really fascinating material.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Exponential Enlightenment Manifesto,
Okay.
specifically Exponential Enlightenment, humanity's next evolutionary leap. We're going to unpack some pretty big ideas
Okay.
about how humanity has evolved through various revolutions
Mm-hmm.
and where we might be headed next. It's all about this potential leap forward.
Mm.
And how technology, spirituality, and a vision of abundance for everyone might weave together.
You know what strikes me is how this manifesto frames human history. It's not just a series of random events,
Right.
but a progression with each revolution setting the stage for the next. We're not starting from scratch.
Right.
We're building on the innovations, the ideas, and even the mistakes of those who came before us.
That's such a good point. It makes you think about the agricultural revolution in a whole new light.
Mm-hmm.
We often just think about it as the shift to farming, but it was so much more than that.
Exactly. Think about the ripple effects. The ability to stay in one place led to the development of villages, then cities, then complex social structures, governance, even specialized rules like artisans and merchants.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling how that one shift set the stage for civilization as we know it.
And then how did we get from farming villages to the Renaissance?
Yeah.
Was it just a straight line?
Not quite. The manifesto talks about how the Renaissance was a rediscovery of human potential after the Middle Ages.
Okay.
Thinkers and artists like Da Vinci weren't just painting pretty pictures, they were pushing the boundaries of science,
Yeah.
engineering, and anatomy. It was a reawakening of creativity and innovation,
Right.
a challenge to the existing order.
It's like humanity was remembering its capacity for brilliance
Mm-hmm.
and that spirit of questioning, of challenging authority. That seems to be at the heart of the Enlightenment, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The Enlightenment wasn't just about fancy wigs and powdered faces. It was a radical shift in thinking. It was about championing reason, individual liberty, and questioning traditional power structures. Suddenly, knowledge and authority weren't just handed down from on high.
Yeah.
They were open to debate and scrutiny. It was a pretty big deal.
It seems like a direct line from the questioning spirit of the Enlightenment to the explosion of innovation during the Industrial Revolution.
I think that's a really insightful connection. The Industrial Revolution wasn't just about machines and factories.
Right.
It was about applying reason and scientific principles to solve problems and improve lives. And yes, it had its downsides like pollution and exploitation, but it also set the stage for incredible technological advancements.
Yeah.
And for many, a higher standard of living.
And that brings us to our current era, the digital age, which is kind of like the Industrial Revolution on hyperdrive. Information at our fingertips, instant global communication. It's exhilarating and overwhelming at the same time.
It's like we've opened Pandora's box. We have access to more information than ever before. But we're also grappling with information overload, privacy concerns, and the very real potential for this technology to be used for harmful purposes.
It's almost like we need a new kind of enlightenment to navigate this digital landscape. And that's where this idea of exponential enlightenment comes in, right?
Exactly. The manifesto argues that the next stage of our evolution isn't just about technological advancement. It's about a parallel evolution of consciousness. It's about combining the incredible power of technology with a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe.
Okay, I'm intrigued. But this idea of a revolution of consciousness, it sounds a little abstract. Can you give me a concrete example of what that looks like?
Well, think about the rise of mindfulness and meditation in recent decades. These practices, once considered fringe, are now becoming mainstream.
Yeah.
People are yearning for inner peace, for a deeper connection with themselves and with something larger than themselves.
I can definitely see that. Yoga studios are popping up everywhere. Meditation apps are all the rage. It seems like people are craving something more than just material success.
And that's the key point. The manifesto argues that this inner transformation, this shift towards greater awareness and compassion, is not just a personal journey.
Yeah.
It has the potential to transform society as a whole.
So it's not just about meditating on a mountaintop. It's about bringing that awareness and compassion into our daily lives, our interactions with others, and even our systems and institutions.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that our inner world and the outer world are interconnected. When we change ourselves, we change the world around us.
Right.
And that's where the concept of exponential enlightenment really starts to take shape. It's about leveraging the power of both technology and consciousness to create a more just, sustainable, and fulfilling world for everyone.
I'm starting to get a clearer picture here. We've got this incredible potential for technological advancement. coupled with a growing desire for inner peace and connection. The manifesto is suggesting that we can harness both of these forces to create a truly transformative shift in human evolution.
Precisely. And it's not just a theoretical idea. The manifesto lays out specific principles and actions we can take to bring this vision to life.
Okay.
It's a roadmap for a future where technology serves humanity and where our individual and collective well-being are prioritized. But before we jump into the how-tos, I
Here.
think it's important to understand the core concept of exponential enlightenment a bit more deeply.
You're right. Let's break down the core of this movement before we dive into specific actions. What are the fundamental principles that underpin this vision of exponential enlightenment?
So we're talking about exponential enlightenment as this fusion of technological power and a more evolved consciousness. But what does that actually look like in practice? The manifesto lays out these core principles that honestly challenge a lot of our assumptions about how the world works.
Okay, I'm all ears. Challenge away.
Yeah.
What's the first principle that really shakes things up?
The first one is this idea of abundance-based giving. It's about moving beyond the scarcity mindset that's so deeply ingrained in our culture. Instead of hoarding resources and competing for a limited pie, we recognize that there's enough to go around for everyone.
Hold on, are we talking about just giving away all our money? That sounds a bit extreme even for an enlightenment revolution.
It's not about literal absolute giving. It's more about shifting our mindset.
Okay.
Instead of operating from a place of fear and lack, we start to see resources as something to be shared and circulated for the benefit of all. Think about it this way. We have the resources to solve world hunger, poverty, so many of the issues facing humanity. But those resources are often concentrated in the hands of a few. Abundance-based giving is about redistributing that wealth in a way that uplifts everyone.
So it's about recognizing that our current systems often perpetuate inequality and that we need to find new ways to share resources more equitably. Are there real-world examples of how this abundance-based giving could work?
Absolutely. The manifesto points to models like universal basic income, where everyone receives a guaranteed minimum income regardless of their work status. It's about creating a safety net that allows people to pursue their passions, contribute to society, and live with dignity, even if they're not engaged in traditional employment.
That's a radical idea, but it's gaining more traction in recent years. I've seen some pilot programs being tested in various countries with some interesting results. What are some other examples of abundance-based giving in action?
Think about the rise of crowdfunding platforms.
Oh, yeah.
People are coming together online to support projects and causes they believe in, often pooling small amounts of money to create a significant impact. It's a form of collective generosity that's challenging traditional models of philanthropy.
That's a great example. It shows how technology can facilitate this shift towards abundance-based giving, connecting people who want to make a difference with those who need support. Okay, so that's abundance-based giving. What's the next pillar of this exponential enlightenment movement?
The second pillar is all about empowered healing and creativity. It's about recognizing that true wealth goes beyond material possessions. It's about nurturing our minds, bodies, and spirits.
So we're talking about things like access to healthcare, education, the arts, things that allow people to thrive on a deeper level.
Exactly. Imagine a world where teachers, artists, and healers are valued and supported as much as CEOs and entrepreneurs, where creativity and well-being are seen as essential components of a thriving society, not just optional extras.
I love that vision. It makes me think about all the amazing people I know who are working in those fields. Artists, therapists, educators, they're often so passionate about their work, but they struggle financially. It's like our current system doesn't always value the things that truly enrich our lives.
That's a key insight. Exponential enlightenment challenges us to rethink our priorities. What if we invested as much in nurturing the human spirit as we do in building skyscrapers and developing new gadgets? What kind of world could we create?
It would be a world where everyone has the opportunity to tap into their creative potential, to heal, to connect with their passions, and to contribute to society in meaningful ways. It's a beautiful vision. But I'm curious, how does this idea of empowered healing and creativity relate to technology? We've been talking about a fusion of technology and consciousness, so how does that play out in this pillar?
That's a great question. Technology can play a role in democratizing access to these resources. Think about online learning platforms that make education available to people all over the world, or telemedicine services that connect people in remote areas with healthcare providers. Technology can also be a tool for creative expression, allowing artists and musicians to share their work with a global audience.
So technology can be a powerful force for empowerment, breaking down barriers and creating opportunities that wouldn't exist otherwise. It's not about technology replacing human connection or creativity, but about using it to amplify and expand those things.
Okay, I'm really starting to grasp this interconnectedness between technology and consciousness that the manifesto is talking about. What's the third pillar that brings this all together?
The third pillar is perhaps the most profound collective awakening in unity. It's about recognizing that we're not isolated individuals, but part of a larger web of life.
Okay.
It's about cultivating empathy, compassion, and a sense of shared responsibility for the well-being of the planet and all its inhabitants.
That's a big one. It's about shifting from an I to a we perspective. But how do we actually cultivate that sense of unity in a world that often feels so divided? It starts with recognizing our shared humanity. Despite our differences in culture, beliefs, or backgrounds, we all share the same basic needs and desires for love, connection, safety, meaning. It's about seeing ourselves reflected in the eyes of others, even those who are different from us.
That's a powerful idea. It's about looking beyond the superficial differences and recognizing that we're all in this together. But it's not always easy to put that into practice, especially in a world that often feels so polarized.
I agree. It takes conscious effort to cultivate empathy and understanding. The manifesto talks about the importance of deep listening, of engaging in respectful dialogue, and of seeking common ground even when we disagree. It's about building bridges instead of walls.
Those are skills that we need to develop, both individually and collectively. It's about creating a culture of compassion and understanding, where differences are respected and where we can learn from each other. But how does technology fit into this vision of collective awakening? Can technology actually help us to connect on a deeper level?
That's a really important question. Technology can be a double-edged sword when it comes to connection. On the one hand, it can create echo chambers and filter bubbles, reinforcing our existing biases and isolating us from different perspectives. But on the other hand, technology can also connect us with people from all over the world, exposing us to new ideas and cultures and fostering a sense of global community.
So it's about using technology mindfully, intentionally choosing to connect with people who are different from us, and engaging in constructive dialogue. It's about using technology to build bridges instead of walls, to foster understanding instead of division.
Exactly. The manifesto even suggests that technology like AI and global communication networks could be used to facilitate this collective awakening, to help us understand each other better, to find solutions to our shared challenges, and to create a more just and equitable world.
Okay, so we've got these three pillars: abundance-based giving, empowered healing and creativity, and collective awakening and unity. They're all interconnected, each one supporting and reinforcing the others. It paints a picture of a very different world, a world that prioritizes well-being, collaboration, and a deeper understanding of ourselves and our interconnectedness. But as inspiring as this vision is, I'm wondering how we actually get there from where we are now. It seems like a huge leap.
It is a big leap, but the manifesto doesn't leave us hanging with just a lofty vision. It provides a call to action.
Okay.
So specific steps we can take to start embodying these principles in our own lives and contribute to this collective shift.
Okay, so it's not just about understanding these concepts intellectually. It's about putting them into practice. I'm eager to hear more about those action steps. What does the manifesto suggest we do to actually bring about this exponential enlightenment? So we've been talking about these big transformative ideas: abundance-based giving, empowered healing and creativity,
Right.
and collective awakening. But I think a lot of listeners might be wondering, where do I even begin?
Yeah.
How do I take these abstract concepts and turn them into something tangible, something I can actually do in my everyday life?
You've hit the nail on the head. The manifesto isn't just a philosophical treatise, it's a call to action.
Okay.
And the first step, perhaps the most fundamental one, is what they call awakening yourself.
Okay.
It's about taking responsibility for your own personal growth, your own journey of expanding consciousness and cultivating empathy.
So before we can change the world, we need to start by changing ourselves. It's about looking inward, doing the inner work. What are some practical ways that people can start on this path of self-awakening?
There are so many paths, and what works for one person might not work for another.
Right.
The manifesto encourages people to explore different practices: meditation, mindfulness, spending time in nature, engaging with different spiritual traditions. It's about finding what resonates with you, what helps you to connect with a deeper sense of peace, purpose, and understanding.
It's about tuning in to that inner voice, that intuition, and really listening to what it's telling you. But it's not always easy to do that in a world that's so full of distractions and external noise.
You're absolutely right. It takes effort, commitment, and sometimes even a bit of courage to quiet the mind and really listen to that inner wisdom. But the rewards are immeasurable. As you begin to cultivate greater self-awareness and compassion, you'll naturally start to see the world through a different lens. You'll become more sensitive to the interconnectedness of all things, more attuned to the needs of others,
Mhm.
and more inspired to make a positive difference.
I love that. It's like as we heal ourselves, we begin to heal the world around us. It's
Yeah.
that ripple effect in action. So we've got personal growth as the foundation.
Mm.
What's the next step in bringing this exponential enlightenment vision to life?
Once you've started doing that inner work, the next step is to connect with others who are on a similar path.
Okay.
The manifesto emphasizes the importance of building community and connection. It's about finding your tribe. Those people who share your values, your aspirations, your commitment to creating a better world.
So it's about finding those spaces where you can be your authentic self, where you can share your hopes and fears, and where you can support and inspire each other. It's about more than just liking the same things on social media. It's about deep, meaningful connection.
Exactly. It's about having those real conversations, the ones that challenge you to grow,
Right.
the ones that help you to see the world from a different perspective, the ones that leave you feeling inspired and connected. And it's also about collaborating, working together to make a positive impact in your community and beyond.
It makes me think of the quote, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. This movement is about going far, about creating lasting change. And that requires collaboration, cooperation, and a sense of shared purpose.
I couldn't have said it better myself. It's about understanding that we're stronger together, that we can achieve so much more when we pool our resources, our talents, and our collective wisdom.
Right.
And once you've found your community, the next step is to start putting those principles of abundance-based giving into action.
So this is where we move beyond the personal and start to engage with the world in a more tangible way. What are some specific examples of how we can practice abundance-based giving in our daily lives?
It can be as simple as being more generous with your time and energy. Volunteer at a local organization. Mentor a young person. Offer support to a friend in need. It's about shifting from a transactional mindset to a giving mindset. Recognizing that the more we give, the more abundance we create in our own lives and in the world around us.
It's about recognizing that abundance isn't just about material wealth. It's about love, kindness, compassion, and generosity of spirit. Those are the things that truly enrich our lives and make the world a better place.
And if you have financial resources to share, the manifesto encourages you to support organizations and individuals who are aligned with your values. Invest in sustainable businesses. Donate to causes you believe in. Support artists and healers who are making a positive impact in the world.
It's about using our resources, both big and small, to create a world that reflects our values. A world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. And it sounds like the final call to action is about being active participants in shaping the future.
Exactly. The manifesto challenges us to envision and create new systems that align with the principles of exponential enlightenment.
Okay.
It's about getting involved in our communities, engaging in dialogue, exploring alternative economic models, and demanding better from our leaders. It's about remembering that we're not just passive recipients of the world we inherit.
Right.
We have the power to co-create a better future.
It's about reclaiming our agency, recognizing that we have a voice, and using that voice to advocate for change. It's about being the change we want to see in the world, starting with ourselves and expanding outwards.
And that's the beauty of this exponential enlightenment movement. It's not a rigid ideology or a set of rules. It's an evolving process, a journey of collective awakening that we're all on together.
This has been such an incredible deep dive. I feel like we've barely scratched the surface of this rich and complex topic, but we've laid a solid foundation for understanding the core principles of exponential enlightenment and how they can be applied in our lives.
I agree, and I think the key takeaway is that this movement is not about waiting for someone else to save us or for some grand event to change the world. It's about recognizing that we each have a role to play in creating the future we want to see.
So to our listeners, we encourage you to explore these ideas further. Check out the Exponential Enlightenment website. Dive into the manifesto. Join the conversation, and most importantly, take action. Even small steps in the direction of greater awareness, compassion, and generosity can make a difference.
The future is not something that happens to us. It's something we create together. Let's embrace the principles of exponential enlightenment and build a world that reflects our highest aspirations.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of exploration. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, keep growing, and keep believing in the power of human potential to create a better world.